It's Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. Before we start today, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you share this video and make sure, if you haven't already subscribed, if you really want to support the channel, subscribe, hit that bell notification so that you are alerted with the newest video. Also, I will be posting another Patreon video this week, so please come over and check out the Patreon channel. Without further ado, I want to get right into this video today. This article right here, really disturbing. And this should hit home with everybody. And I know that there's a lot happening financially. We're going to talk about some of that a little bit later, but I want to share this article with you. It's been circulating all over the internet. You can go to CNN. You can go to I believe it's on the New York Post. It's all over. FBI seizes 800 Beverly Hills safety deposit boxes with $86 million. Attorneys claim Fed's raid unconstitutional. And this, to me, is so important to talk about today. And please feel free to comment down below. What do you think about this? To me, this means everybody needs to be very careful where they're storing their assets, whether that's gold coins, gold bars, silver, diamonds, art, cash, etc. This was stored at U.S. Private Vaults Incorporated in Beverly Hills. And when I read this, literally to me, it was unconstitutional, and people now have to prove their innocence. They have to prove that they're not criminals. People's life savings were snatched just like that. 75 boxes have been returned, and another 175 boxes will be returned. But remember, there were 800 total boxes. They take these boxes, and now it's up to you, the criminal, to prove your innocence. These forfeiture laws that we're seeing are so dangerous. You cannot trust a private vault. You cannot trust your bank. Once you turn those assets over into a private vault or into a bank, it's now their property, and you can have an entity such as the FBI, maybe the IRS, who knows? The bank itself, if the bank gets in trouble, do you think they're not going to go into your safety deposit box? Bank of America has been doing that for years. So again, this is another reminder. If you do not hold it, you do not own it. You know, we see what's happening with cyber attacks and ransomware and people having all their money on a screen, digits on a screen, and how quickly that can be vaporized, how quickly it can disappear. These people thought they were safe because they put a physical asset in a physical vault, but not thinking that some agency could just walk in, take it, and turn them into a criminal. And now it's up to them to prove their innocence. And remember, these federal agencies have very deep pockets. The average American doesn't. But again, these forfeiture laws are so unconstitutional, so dangerous. And your money, your assets can be taken hostage. They took the money, then they pressured the owners of that money to divulge private info. You know, they want everybody in cryptos and digital currencies. They want to watch where all your money's going. They want to watch where your money's coming from. They want to see how much money you have. And if your social score isn't high enough, if for some reason you do something they don't like, flip of a switch, they can freeze your account. They can make your money, your assets disappear. They've already lost, get this, they've already lost some of these people's possessions as they carelessly went through these safety deposit boxes. So maybe they lost them, maybe they really didn't lose them, maybe they were stolen. But just think, you know, is your money safe in a safety deposit box in a private vault or in your bank? That could be Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, whatever. Is it really safe? I just believe that you should have your money in assets in different locations if you can. And again, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. I think that you need to have your assets in places you can get to in time of emergency. These assets, this money was just a sitting duck. In the article, there's a gentleman named Joseph Ruiz. He had his entire life savings taken. And where did he get that life savings from? He had two settlements that totaled $57,000. It was just taken by agents. And they said that they made him out to be a criminal. And now he's had to hire an attorney. He's going to have to pay to get his money back. If he gets it back, how long will it take? Will he get his money back in the next couple days, couple weeks, couple months, couple years, or never? These forfeiture laws, very, very dangerous. Law enforcement agents from 2000 to 2019 have seized $46 billion from forfeiture cases. The federal government has kept the lion's share of those funds. This includes also, get this, just not assets such as precious metals, gold, cash, things like that. Land seizures. This included land seizures also. So very, very scary when you have entities this powerful that can just come in and now you've got to prove you're innocent. I thought you were innocent till proven guilty, but now they can take your house, your car, your land, your cash, etc., and say you're guilty, prove your innocence, and you're going to need a lot more money in order to do that because you're going to need a legal team to go up against the federal government. So I just wanted to bring that up to everybody's attention. Be very, very careful. Yes, there's ransomware, there's cyber attacks, but you also have government entities now going in and seizing land, seizing assets, seizing cash, things like that. And you have got to prove you're innocent, and you're going to have to prove how and where you got it. There's no privacy now. They want to know everything. And this is why they love digital currencies. This is why they're going to promote digital currency, because they're going to be able to follow and track where every little amount of money came from, where it went, where it's at right now, where it's going to, how you got it, who's got it, when you got it. Just really concerning times, ladies and gentlemen, but just food for thought. Think about that. Google that article. It's fascinating. And again, I report these things so that we all start thinking critically and really protecting our wealth, not just from an economic collapse, but you're protecting your wealth from cyber attacks. You're protecting it from criminals like agents like this who just go in and steal your money. I want to go to another article here that I thought was really fascinating. Reading this last night, and this was on CNBC. Jamie Dimon says JP Morgan is hoarding cash because very good chance inflation is here to stay. JP Morgan Chase has been effectively stockpiling cash rather than using it to buy treasuries or other investments because of the possibility of higher inflation, which will force the Federal Reserve to boost interest rates. This is a quote from Jamie Dimon himself. Even though many people out there say that this could never happen, they'll never be able to raise interest rates forever, it's going to be zero, maybe even negative, but we're hearing more and more. We had Janet Yellen, Fed Treasury, come out from the Federal Treasury, and she was talking about rates having to go up. Now we've got Jamie Dimon warning about the possibility of interest rates creeping up. Is it possible? Let me know. Comment down below. And again, comment down below. What do you think about this FBI raid in Beverly Hills? What do you think about these forfeiture laws? And what do you think about what Jamie Dimon said, the chance now of this inflation causing the Fed to raise rates? Not going to happen today, but somewhere down the road. He says, we have a lot of cash and capability, and we're going to be very patient because I think you have a very good chance inflation will be more than transitory. And as we watch these business channels and these economists and these analysts telling us, no, it's just temporary. It's just transitory. There's people like Jamie Dimon and myself and many of you out there that believe this is more than transitory, that this inflation is going to be here for quite a while, and it's going to get much, much worse. Here's another one on CNBC. Rents for single family homes just saw the largest gains in nearly 15 years. So as we see inflation possibly turning into hyperinflation, definitely heating up, single family rents are up 5.3% year over year in April. That's up from a 2.4% year over year increase in April of 2020. So we are seeing inflation heating up, and look at these rent costs skyrocketing. Rent for a single family detached home, not a townhouse, these were up 7.9% compared from a year ago. So when I see the price of gas and food, healthcare, just the cost of living, and you look at rent costs and mortgage costs, I don't know how people are doing it. And I've read a lot of comments, and a lot of people agree with that. They themselves, you yourself, cannot even understand how people are making it right now. People must be falling so far behind. Again, you can go outside, it's sunny, people are out, they're driving around, they're walking around the malls, they're out at the restaurants, and everything seems good. But we don't really see what's down below the infrastructure or the foundation of this economy, because nobody ever shows it. Nobody ever talks about it. Again, the Fed and the government are just printing right over this thing, and people are not seeing the devastation that is taking place to the foundation of this economy. You can't ignore the empty buildings. You can't ignore the unemployment numbers. You can't ignore the homeless crisis. You can't ignore people's standard of living and inflation that we're seeing. You can't ignore these things. This foundation is cracking. It is decaying. And I can see it. And I know most of you see it too. But a lot of people choose not to see it. They choose just to continue to move on. They don't want to be negative. They don't want to think about it. It's teddy bears, rainbows, and puffy white clouds. And don't be negative. And these are the people that will be hurt the most as this depression continues to worsen. CNBC, home builder sentiment drops to 10-month low as construction costs drive prices higher. Home builder sentiment dropped 2 points to 81 on the NAHB's monthly index, down from a recent peak of 90 back in November. Costs are up 20% year over year. Again, how long, when you look at housing costs going up 20% year over year, how long does the average American hang on? And we all know that a massive, millions of these houses are being gobbled up by hedge funds and pensions, investment companies, and the 1%, etc., foreign and domestic. And this is causing a home shortage, and this is causing a massive increase in home prices. And this is why we're seeing homes being sold within 2 weeks, massively overpriced, above asking price, as is no conditions, and cash. And when I saw this happening a while back, I just said, who in the world, with an economy that's closed, with this kind of unemployment, with this wealth inequality, opportunity inequality, the average income in America is $34,000 a year. That's individual. And I'm thinking, okay, look at the home prices skyrocketing. Who in the world, first off, it would buy a house in this bubble? Secondly, who can afford to buy one right now? Because a majority of Americans are out of work or they're broke. We know statistically 80% of Americans back in 2019 were living paycheck to paycheck. 42% of Americans didn't even have $400 saved up for an emergency fund. So I'm thinking to myself, who's buying these houses? Well, of course, here now we're all of a sudden beginning to hear that, yes, it's institutional money. Yes, it's pensions. Yes, it's hedge funds. It's the Black Rocks. It's massive investment companies, with billions and billions and billions of dollars, and they're going to blow this bubble up, okay? And they don't care. because they've got billions of dollars to invest. And if they don't, they're going to borrow for zero, or they're just going to get a bailout and they're going to come in and buy your home when it's 50% off. And this is what's happening right now. And America better get ready, because most people in America are going to be renters. They're going to be lifelong renters, because what is happening is your tax dollars are going to basically these corporations and these massive hedge funds. Your tax money goes to support all this. Your tax money is going to these hedge funds and corporations and pensions, and they're using your money to buy up these houses and price you out. It's absolutely appalling what is going on, and that this is being allowed. Also on CNBC, producer prices climbed 6.6% in May on annual basis, largest 12-month increase on record. At the same time, retail sales declined 1.3%, worse than the 0.6% estimate. PPI rose 5.3% over 12 months. This does not include food or energy, which is skyrocketing. Speaking of energy, I don't know if you've looked at your water bill lately or your air conditioning bill. Texas, I read an article last night that their energy bills are going through the roof. They're having a heat wave, and we're having, 110 here today in Palm Desert, and I think we're looking at 120 plus coming in a few days. But according to the article, price increases, we look at grains. The price of grains went up 25.7%. Oilseeds, 19.5%. Beef and veal up 10.5%. And what's not on here is seafood. I just looked at seafood yesterday when I was buying some beef, and I could not believe the price of seafood. But this is the May prices, and they're probably going to be higher in June. Once the stimulus money begins to run out, people aren't going to go out and shop like they did. They need those $600 and $300 benefit checks. They need those $1,400 or $2,000 stimulus checks. So if they're not getting benefit checks, if they're not getting stimulus checks, we're going to see retail sales begin to slide, as we just saw happen in May. June, I believe it will be worse. We knew this was going to happen. Without stimulus, the economy continues to spiral out of control. And basically, the stock market would too. But the stock market knows the Fed will always continue to pump in the stimulus. More QE, more money printing, more debt creation to keep the stock market going. The economy needs the same thing, but it needs much, much more. And look, this Fed is in very, very big trouble. We're at 0% interest rates. They've pumped in trillions of dollars into these markets, trillions of dollars into the economy, and the stock market continues to go up, but very, very few people are in the stock market. Everybody's in the economy, and the economy is going to be much, much harder to manipulate than the stock market. You cannot sweep any of this under the rug. You see the vacant stores, you see the restaurants going out of business. We're going to see a bloodbath of retail and restaurants this summer. It's going to be a disaster. They cannot save it. And it doesn't matter to me what the stock market does. It can continue to go up. It could go up even farther during this depression. Who cares? Does it really matter? Does the stock market really matter to you when you don't have a job, when the restaurants continue to go out of business, when all retail goes out of business, when the malls are all gone, when you have blocks and blocks of outdoor shopping centers, plazas gone? Who's going to make up the tax revenue for all this? What about all the commercial mortgage-backed securities? All of this invested, in these bonds. Who's going to make up for these losses? How do the banks make up for this? I guess we'll just continue to print more money, and in the meantime, as the Fed prints more money to cover up all of this, your purchasing power will continue to be destroyed. And when milk is $10 a gallon and a loaf of bread is $10, maybe people begin to realize what is happening. But I think a lot of people are beginning to realize it because they got to go to the store, daily. They're going to the gas station daily and they're seeing it. I'm going to end with this. In the last article on The Hedge today, supply chain chaos. Container rates skyrocket even higher and there's no end in sight. And to this individual who said that you're low educated, I'm low educated, things are getting way better. Please tell us where, because all I can say is this: get ready to pay more because these container rates are absolutely going ballistic. Asia West Coast spot rate per FEU, that's a 40-foot unit, from Shanghai to LA was over $6,300. That is up 199% year over year. Guess who's going to pay for that? You will pay for it. I will pay for it. Asia to the East Coast, $2,576 for an FEU. That's a record high. Europe to the East Coast, $5,193 per FEU. That's a record. That's up 164% year over year. How does the average American keep up with this? Let me ask you this. Over the last year, has your paycheck gone up 164%? Has it gone up 199%? Mine hasn't. I'm sure yours hasn't either. So, to these people out there who I think are watching way too many cartoons, maybe too much reality TV, playing way too many video games. They need to get out of the matrix. They need to get out of their bubble. They need to come back to reality, because here's the message to those people. Your benefit checks are coming to an end. Your rent moratoriums are coming to an end. Okay, that means that they're going to unplug your video games. They're going to shut your electricity down. That means you're probably not going to be able to get to the weed store as much because your benefits are ending. All right. And then your unemployment's going to end. And then you're going to be in the real world and you can say goodbye to the matrix. Your bubble is about to pop. And to the real people out there who really understand there's a problem, keep doing what you're doing. Work that extra side hustle, 2 side hustles, 3 side hustles, whatever. Move in with your friends, move in with family members, whatever you need to do to consolidate that debt, get it paid off, get it paid down, whatever you need to do to save up that cash reserve. This is the time right now to have a tactile plan, a tactical plan before we really get deep into this depression. These are absolutely crazy times, volatile times, dangerous times, especially financially. The biggest wealth transfer is happening right before our very eyes, and yet people are asking me, well, when's the collapse going to happen? You've been saying this. Take a look out the window. Do you not see what is happening to this economy? If you do not see it by now, it's too late for you. I really feel sorry for you because it's too late. If you cannot see what is happening right now, if you do not understand just the half dozen articles I just shared with you, if you don't understand that, if you cannot interpret that, I just don't know what to say. You should probably turn this off and go back to watching cartoons. These are some of the most dangerous, if not most dangerous, financial times we have ever seen. And your wealth is being threatened daily by these entities who want to steal it, by the cyber attacks and ransomware, by the inflation, and by this collapse. You've got to be thinking so smart right now about how you're going to protect the money that you have, how you're going to protect your wealth, and where you're going to put it so that you can make a lot more wealth during the worst financial times in U.S. history.